cult has everything. Welcome to another episode of the Have We Made It Yet podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, the actor, Lucas Ing.
And I'm the comedian, Josh Yang.
Now, for all those who may not have gotten that reference, what was that from, Josh?
Stefan from SNL, which
Honestly?
my favorite character on it ever, because it was like it was so ludicrous, the writing of the jokes and the fact that like when you can make a character break genuine laughter, then it just makes it so much funny. It's so much pure and a display of comedy. So I like how you just out of nowhere, I wasn't expecting that 100%. I was not expecting you to do Stefan.
The references are going to go wild today, Josh. There are going to be deep cuts throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, this podcast was found on the Upper East Side of a abandoned comforter. I don't know.
Welcome back to another episode of the Have We Made It Yet podcast. It is the podcast again where creatives talk about the process of making it. As we start off with every episode, Josh in his nice Frank and Oak shirt, which we one day hope to. Oh no, they're going out of business.
Are they? No, that's just the warehouse sales that have been like, oh, come on.
No, I heard.
Oh, they're actually going out of business?
Yeah.
Oof.
But anyways. So sorry. Mr. Josh Yang.
Yes.
Have you made it yet?
I have not made it yet. And it has been about a year, and I think that we're going to be talking about that later. But I haven't made it yet. However, the Sleep with Josh podcast, in the last 3 days, I have consistently been getting one new follower on Spotify every day. Yes.
I wish I had that app.
Yeah. So I'm starting to get some kind of consistent downloads every day in the mid to high singles. So that's good. It's better than getting 0 to 1 to 2. So I'm mid to high singles.
Yeah.
And then soon I'll be in the teens, and that'll be a whole new ball game. But good enough.
Then you'll be too big time for this podcast. You'll be a tight ship, man. Just a one-man show.
Yeah, too many people sleep with Josh. Am I right? Am I right?
What's your body count right now, man?
18 followers.
Oh man, you slut.
Yeah. Actually, you know what is weird? What is weird about the analytics behind it? I checked on Spotify. Okay. So out of all of the listeners and streams or whatever of the streams, 2/3 are women, and more around half of the 2/3, so I guess maybe a third to 40% are actually women between 18 to 22, which is it's odd because it's such a big skew in comparison to a lot of the other categories, but for some reason women 18 to 22 I managed to hit over 500 downloads, so out of the 500 some odd downloads have been female listeners of 18 to 22, and maybe it's the double entendre of the of the Sleep with Josh title. Who knows, or it's my voice, I don't know, who knows. But it's interesting.
Happy for you. But 18 to 22, though, that is a key demographic that you have really gravitated towards. I never would have thought, though. Never would have thought.
Neither would have I. Even though, the single side of me is like, yes. But the other side of me is like, am I supposed to start selling makeup or something? How is that gonna...
Oh, that's such a dated thing, Josh. I'm sure they like more things than just makeup.
No, I know, but I mean, if you're aiming for an 18 to 22-year-old demographic that's female, I'm imagining sponsors would be more so in like I don't know. Anyways, it's a weird statistic that I wasn't expecting, but when I look at the analytics, it's there. And like we'll see over time if it keeps going like that. So
it's just funny. What was I saying? Because you're talking about sponsors right now, and you're going in the high singles.
yeah. No, okay. I was okay. Clearly a joke. I have no idea when sponsors actually come in. Probably when you get at least consistently, maybe
Mac, come for this guy, Mac.
Thousands of downloads a month, most likely. But yeah. But you know what? Enough about me.
Yeah.
Lucas, have you made it yet?
A deep fried, full blown Caesar topped rotisserie chicken cutted. No. But I'm okay with that. And it's been a little over a year, but I'm not counting this year because this year's a wash.
Yeah.
So it's one thing to keep busy, but it's another thing to keep motivated and inspired. But hopefully within this one episode, we're going to go through our experiences about making it, because this has been one of the more fucked up years ever.
Absolutely. I agree 100% that it's been a fucked up year, but yeah. So what did you I know you have something planned.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a throw. Okay, cool.
That's a throw. I'm throwing it.
Okay, so I just briefly wrote like 6 things that I realized. And of course, they're going to keep on getting bigger and bigger and more contextualized. Contextualized, that's a hard word to say. But, okay, first thing that I realized, and I think this is the same with you, Josh. Sorry, when I point, am I pointing to you when I point to this side?
No.
Oh, this side.
But it might be different from when you record it, because I'm on the left side but then this might be reversed. So
to be safe.
To be safe, do that.
Okay, Josh. This comes out to you.
Yeah, that's going to be the cover, by the way. Just us doing this. That's going to be the cover of
I love that we can actually choose it now. Okay, first thing, and I think this is true for the both of us. Never take anything personal in this industry.
Yes. Unless they specifically tell you to fuck off, then that's probably personal.
True. But until the day that they do tell you to fuck off, probably because you were like too overbearing, then it's not your fault. You're going to go through so many shit auditions. You're going to go through so many bad scenes when in your acting classes. You're going to be at times just like taking on so much garbage from your scene partners too. And I mean, everyone's trying to make it in whatever sense that they want to, but it's nothing personal. Everyone just wants to find a job in the end. Anytime we go to a job interview, we probably won't get it. So never take anything like that personal.
Yeah.
I don't know, Josh, like I'm sure you probably felt the sting of taking something personal when you really shouldn't have, right?
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't. I guess we shouldn't. But I mean, it is hard to, because if like there's gatekeepers and you feel like, oh, why isn't an opportunity there per se? It's like, if you're on a similar level and whatnot, and it's like it's like sometimes it ends up just being personal. And well, I mean, you never know. I mean, you shouldn't assume that it is. Try to be as professional as possible. But people have emotions. I mean, people who attempt this are generally, I'm going to assume, I'm the outlier because I have no emotions. I sound like I have no emotions. But like normal people who are trying to be artsy are going to have more connection with their emotions. So
yeah, and that's what I'm really trying to make a distinction. I mean, there's podcast Lucas, there's acting Lucas, there's Lucas at home which just cleaned the windows. Like, just even if you don't get the part, it's not a reflection on you. It's nothing to take personal, because the cleaning window Lucas is just fine. The cooking chicken yesterday Lucas was just fine doing that too.
Oh, that was delicious, chick. That was delicious, Lucas. I mean, I never ate it, but that was delicious. That was
Thanks, man. Okay, second thing. Train. Even if you think you're fucking Marlon Brando, train. And it's not just because like you might be shit. And if anything, acting is kind of the weird craft in a way that like you might actually instinctually have it. The camera may literally love you, and you look
mm,
great like Timothy Chalamet. But the main thing is train so that at least other people can see you, other people can vouch for you, but also at the same time, just like be willing to put yourself out there so that you can at least showcase your talent. That's the main thing. And I felt like there's a lot of, I don't know, I met this like one actor before,
yeah.
and he was working at Sobeys with me. Okay.
Okay.
And
We're gonna nail this name down eventually.
he doesn't work there anymore. But he was always going like, I just need a producer to just see me. It's like he always did this.
Oof, oof.
Yeah. Like I'm like, bro, you know, it's no producer's gonna see you at Sobeys. Like unless I don't know. I've heard of some stories where like models get picked up of like in the most mundane of activities, like they're eating brunch or something.
Yeah, yeah. If you're
But
attractive, you're generally attractive everywhere. So,
huh,
anytime some random that happens a lot to a lot of different actresses that or actors that like start off as models, right? They get scouted as models at a young age
huh,
and then transfer that over to acting. Like, I mean, Kent was also like he started off in that modeling sphere,
mhm.
and I'm just gonna assume it's easier to transition from a field where like you're viewed as attractive in the modeling sense,
Yeah.
or I guess in the general sense, and then transition that onto screen.
Mhm. Yeah. But even in Ken's case, he still had to train his ass off in terms of his body.
Yeah,
So
you gotta practice. We're talking about practice.
we're talking about practice, man. So yeah, don't push off training. Like, don't think you're too good for it. Like even Constance Wu, you know, of Hustlers fame, of Crazy Rich Asians fame, she still goes to acting classes, man. Like, good on her. Keep that training up, man.
Absolutely. I mean, if anything, acting acting classes is interesting because you always have to exercise that skill, right? Because no role is going to be the same as the previous role, so you always have
Mm-hmm.
to be adaptable. Whereas like in comedy it is really more so refinement. So you're taking something that's all over the place and then focusing it in, so then it's like you that practice makes a little bit more granular sense,
Yeah.
whereas like you know acting practice is like you have to be able to take it on the fly. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know.
On that point though, like I just had my last like Zoom acting class that I'm gonna do for a while.
Right.
And the coach on that, he was just like giving me cues on the fly. He was like, okay, say this line, but seduce her with it. I'm like,
Mm.
the line is have a seat. So I'm like, how do you seduce someone with it? And he's like, okay, try something else. Demand it. Okay, try something else. Be humble about it. I'm like, and I'm still stuck on how to seduce someone with that line of have a seat.
Oh, there it is. A little bit. You just gotta add a little bit of a have a seat, or just like
What a line.
what a line.
Ah, man, if only everyone saw what just happened. We'll keep that between us two.
Yeah.
Between us
Yes.
two. Okay, so the third thing is, I'm not sure if it's the same for comedy though, but at least that's how I felt. This business will ask you for everything. You will not progress if you don't put your all in it. And I find that kind of true just because the spontaneity of auditions. It could come at 2:30 p.m. on a Wednesday, and you won't have known that until Tuesday evening, the night prior to that. That's why like actors like myself have to work jobs that are extremely flexible or the ones that you kind of don't really care about at times. At times, like Sobeys is great. You know, don't
Oh
want to put
yeah.
them down. They're
Yep.
great employer. But you need to be completely flexible because you don't know when that moment will come. And if you are not willing to put yourself in the pocket of ambiguity, then you will not have a future in it because these opportunities come and you will never know when they will come. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I mean, I would say though, I think for comedy, because it's predominantly done at night, you can do it with a 9 to 5 job.
Awesome.
And I would say for the first few years, I mean, it takes a while anyways to feel like you know how to write a joke or you get more comfortable on stage. So it takes a little bit of time anyways to get to a stage where you might even consider it. But then like, I think for Joe Vu, he made that very conscious decision to quit his job, take his savings, and then go into it. And I think that was at a period when he was already doing, shows. His material was already working to a certain degree. And I remember him mentioning in class, like, one of the things that pushed him forward with the decision was that he was turning down opportunities, I think, to do comedy. So then when he feels like the opportunities are there and now he has to make this time to take on these opportunities or else it might actually hurt the career. That's when he had to make that decision. So you're going to hit a tipping point. And I think I agree as well on that concept that it's like this, because everything's so subjective, it's almost a matter of a law of averages. Like you have to constantly be out there, go through all the auditions, all the spots, all the different chances, because you never know which of those chances might give you, a break, might give you a role. Some producer might be in the audience. It's like, oh, they just liked you, they saw you. It's like maybe consider you for something in the future. So it's a matter of numbers. It's a numbers game there.
Definitely. And on top of that too, in acting, which is kind of different in terms of comedy too, your agent will be so pissed at you if you constantly turn down auditions because of work. I know work is very important, but don't expect to have any life within the creative industries if people can't depend on you, if you are not available. And even if you are available, like, make sure you like show up mentally, physically, spiritually. Make sure you're actually present, because if you're constantly thinking on stage, especially if you're doing a set or something like that, if you're constantly thinking about like the new project at work and everything like that, and just the amount of stress that you have after your big show and everything, it's gonna be a clusterfuck, man. It ain't gonna be good for you.
Yep.
But I mean, everyone's path is different. Like, don't drop everything.
No.
No.
It's I wouldn't say anybody should drop everything right when they get the idea, because that's way too much risk. That's unnecessarily high amounts of risk.
Yeah.
To commit to this. I mean, like, I think to a certain degree, go to auditions where you can see if you get anywhere. But I guess it is different for acting and stand-up. Stand-up is like, it's very much, you can do it as a side thing until you get to a certain point. Whereas acting, it is kind of right, like you do. So I guess maybe it is you at a certain point as an actor, you do have to take a leap where you're like, no, but then anyways, I don't know where I'm going with this.
No, it is kind of true though. It's, if you are not willing to put a lot of yourself in it, you're not going to get anything out. I know that's usually true for a lot of things, but in terms of the creative fields, I think that rings a lot more true than anything else.
Yeah. And in the end, like, don't hold yourself back. If you have an idea, if it makes you happy on a stimulation point of view, do it. Like, if you have a good idea, like for this podcast, even for the second podcast, is like, I like the idea that I had. So I just went ahead and did it. And once you start it, you're going to go through the rough patches, and then once you get better, you'll get better, and then you'll create a system. You'll become more efficient, and then as things go, slowly it'll happen. Slowly it'll work itself out.
For sure. And man, the time commitment that you have to put into this, it's ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
Okay. My number fourth point. Okay. Everyone's rooting for you, but it might not feel like it.
Right.
Like I've just based on my own experience, when you're on an audition and it really does feel like American Idol, like you're standing there and across from you are the casting directors, and it just feels like you're on American Idol because you literally have like 30 seconds and you got to blow them away with whatever is in your scene and everything like that. So every time I went in there, I always felt like it was an adversarial role. Like they don't like me, they don't give a fuck about me, but I'm just gonna blow them away. And then if they like me or not, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, the casting directors, they're looking for their unicorn. They're really rooting for you to do well so that they can book you, so that they don't have to work anymore. They don't want to have to stay in that room for another like 3 hours looking for their Bigfoot, their Sasquatch, their unicorn. So just know that when you're on an audition, first of all, it's an honor to be in there. But second of all, they're not trying to make you fail. If they're asking for another take on that same part, do it to the best of your ability, but they're not trying to fuck with you. They're just trying to see what you're made of. And if you are that person, amazing. They don't have to stay and look at bad acting for another 3 hours while chomping on their Cobb salad and drinking their 5th cup of coffee. They're rooting for you.
Yeah.
Everyone wants you to do well.
I would generally agree for comedy as well. I think, I feel like at an amateur level, open mics, because the comedy in general is not that great, like the second somebody is up there who is funny and some of their material does work, it's always nice to see. It always makes it so that it's just a better experience. So you're not just, standing off to the side and watching jokes not work the entire time. So I think in that aspect, in general, the community is pretty supportive if somebody is good, is getting better, making changes and stuff like that. However, I would also agree that there is some shit talk.
Say it. Yeah.
There is shit talk. There is shit talk. But but then again, comedy is so subjective. You may not like how, another comedian's, material is. And like, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, and every comedian is opinionated. That's pretty much the whole mantra of being a comedian, is like, you have to be opinionated and have a point of view. So in a certain degree, people do want to see other people succeed, but then at another degree, sometimes they don't.
Do you take pleasure in watching other people bomb?
No, I wouldn't say so. I'm kind of really out there, like, I want to see good comedy so that I can see how people, perform, learn from what I can see. I guess for me, the only thing is like, I want to try to be the funniest on stage. I want to try to have the best set, but that's from like a personal, driven point of view. I wouldn't say I wouldn't wish bombing alone on stage for 5 minutes on my worst enemy. I wouldn't.
That bad, hey?
I wouldn't wish that type of vulnerability, exposure. You're just standing there. It's like, oh, I think this is funny, and nobody else thinks it's funny, and you still have to be there.
Yeah.
So it can be a very lonely setting. So I don't want to see people fail. And sometimes, when they fail, like I mean, other comedians, like if you're friends with other comedians and you see them fail for whatever reason, and you have that kind of ribbing relationship, sometimes it's funny to see them fail. But then it's not like a fail, oh, they suck, you should get out of the game. It's kind of like, it's kind of like, you know, the mentality is like, yo, everybody's gonna fail for some
Yeah.
reason at certain points, and it's sometimes it's just funny watching them do it. But if it's from like a very cynical point of view, it's like,
Mhm.
you know, I wouldn't say I have that perspective, but I would not also not say that it's also there some on the level.
Yeah.
But that's at like, you know, amateur open mic levels, people still trying to get in because it's a lot of bruised egos sometimes.
Uh-huh.
But
Man,
yeah.
and I find like so many comedians are already so jaded already that like they almost
Yep.
like take pleasure in their own pain, but also in other people's pain too. I don't know. You
Yeah.
sadists, you guys are weird, man.
I guess it's like if you've been in it again, it's the expectations. It's like if you've been in the game for so long and
Hmm.
you're not seeing any movement and you feel like you've put in so much effort, then you get jaded because you feel like you expect to be at this level, but you're not there.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, we talk with this like with Fawad, it's like, even though it's tough, it's best to have no expectations. And that's
Uh-huh.
something like I kind of wanted to touch a little bit later on. Is like, I wanted to talk about how it's your expectations have changed from when you started a year and a half ago
Yeah,
to
yeah.
now, because like my expectations of where I am now are completely, you know, I couldn't even imagine
Hmm.
the position I'm in now and what I've been lucky enough and fortunate enough to be able to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was your, are we on 4 or 5? Is this the,
We're on the fifth one right now.
okay, let's go.
Okay. Bad auditions can be good, and good auditions can be terrible. Um, so case in point, like there's one of them, one of the three bookings that that I had in the last year.
Yeah.
The role was called "Scared Chinese Boyfriend Watching Horror Movie."
Okay.
Uh, so it was just me and my scene partner, like two dudes who were um, vying for that one part. We just had to pretend we were scared at the sound of a clap. So the casting director was like, "Okay, okay, you're watching really intently." All of a sudden, and then I have to like jump out and like look really cheerfully scared and everything like that, as if
Yeah.
I was in like Fright Nights at P&E or something. Um, Somehow booked the part, but I thought even when I was walking out of that audition, I'm like, this is so stupid, man. Like, I look so dumb. Like, someone has tape of me, like, looking scared and happy at the same time. Like, that's so silly. But um, I remember I had this one audition, which I completely bombed and did not get the part, though. But that just goes to show you just sometimes the randomness of everything, too.
Mm.
Um, it was for a CBS show called Blood and Treasure. It could have been a really, really cool gig. And it was really small, though. It was a bit part. So it was like security guard number 2. My agent asked me, "Hey, do you speak Cantonese?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I do. Hell yeah. Okay."
Yeah.
Then I got the script. Then I quickly like sent that over to Ray, our good friend Ray, who like translated for me, and also my parents, who also translated for me.
Hmm.
The line was, "No deliveries after 6." Okay. And then the second line is, "Oh, this way, please." So
Hmm.
in Cantonese, it's like, "唔得送貨." Look, sorry, 6點後唔得送貨. Oh, 唔好意思,呢邊, for our
Okay.
Canto listeners. But at the audition, I panicked. I didn't even know where my eye line was. I just said, 6點後冇貨,唔好意思. And I completely just fucked it all up. And
Yeah.
when I walked out of the room, I just wanted to take my water bottle and just wanted to like hit my head over it because I was so mad at myself.
Mm.
So just, if anything, bad auditions can be very good, but also bad auditions can be terrible too. So just do your very best, put yourself out there, and see what happens because
Right.
it's
Right.
random, man.
Right. Because you just said like bad can be good and good can be bad. Okay. Yeah. So like the good audition, the good result could have come from a bad performance, whatever.
Yeah.
And a bad performance can lead to a good result. So
Yeah.
that's true. Because I mean, that's the other thing where I would imagine like going into auditions is like you give what you give, you know, and then you just don't act. You just got to be confident. You can't act like you didn't know what you were doing
Yeah.
because it's acting, right? Because
Yeah.
like at a certain point, once they yell action to the point where they yell cut, I'm assuming the directors or whatever, they're going to assume that what you're showing them between that period of
Yeah.
time was intentional.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you do it and then at the end it's like, oh my god, what was I doing? That was terrible. Then they get the sense like, oh, if he thinks it's terrible, then it was terrible. Whereas, but you don't know. You don't know subjectively. Like if somebody took it a certain way.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously, if you're a more experienced actor, like you would have better control over what you're expressing. You're pinpointing an emotion. You want to get a certain reaction. But
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes with like smaller parts and stuff, it's like who knows exactly what they're looking for. So I mean, I could draw a line with between that and comedy because
Please.
like if you tell a joke, right, but you're confident that when you tell it, even though you might have fucked up during the telling of it, if you act like everything's fine, the audience won't notice. They can't tell if what you're saying is a part of the joke or not a part of the joke.
Right. All right.
So you can't break down your joke midway through your joke on stage, and lose confidence because the audience has no idea up until the point where you're like, oh no, why did I do that? Or it's like, oh, you start stuttering or whatever. Then the audience is realize like, oh, this isn't part of the bit. He's just not good. So it's like, yeah, it's like sometimes when you just gotta power through it, act like everything's fine, and then nobody knows the wiser.
Exactly, man. They don't call this like stagecraft for no reason. It's like it's literally craft, man. Just power through. And I just got the last one. It's really subtle, really small. I think in terms of also yourself, which is a really like, it's an explicit art form in the sense that you're up there on stage by yourself, and as actors, you're on what they call like the mini stage, but the camera is a really powerful lens that can not only see you but also like read your emotions too. So I think it's okay to feel this as an actor. I just said it's okay to be nervous in front of the camera.
Yeah.
You don't always have to be like on. You don't always have to feel like you got to put on a show every time. Like people get nervous too. Seasoned professionals get nervous too. So it's okay to feel the feelings. Just make sure. Oh no, there's this John Jones line that I always remember, the fighter John Jones. It's like he just said, it's okay to feel butterflies in your stomach so long as you make them fly in formation. And I'm like, that's cool. Channel that energy, man. Do it. Like, it's okay to feel nervous. Just use that clenched hand, use that sweaty palm as grip when you have to hold on to more things. Just use that.
Yeah, being nervous, being anxious, having that fear instinct keeps you focused, gives your senses heightened. So it's like I would imagine also sometimes like some comedians I've heard say is like if you go up and you're not like, who knows who can see whether or not you're nervous. Like somebody could go up before stage and like act confident, right? But inside be nervous, and that's everybody's own process. But it's like if you go up there and you're genuinely inside and out just completely not nervous, then either you're a comedy god or you have no idea what's about to happen, or you have no idea what's going to happen because you're naive.
Yeah.
Right. You have no idea like what to focus on. You have no expectation. Well, I mean, in that kind of no expectation may not be a great thing at that moment, but it's like, it's, I think like if you're too overconfident sometimes, then you lead yourself into a bad decision making or bad performance. But if you're nervous, you're focused a bit more, you're a little bit more anxious, then you just I think you just perform better in general.
Yeah. So long as you can like be present in the moment too. Like I remember I was like watching Kevin Hart performing at the O2.
Yeah.
Like he kept on saying, "Holy shit, I'm here at the O2." And even he was like so present in the moment that he wasn't just like, this is any other show. Like, fuck it, I'm Kevin Hart, man.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. That's my 6, man. Did you have anything?
Well, for me, I didn't necessarily list it down, but I kind of had I did have kind of the idea where it's like I wanted us to talk a bit about, it's been a year or so since starting, and then the expectations we kind of had in the beginning versus like where we are now, and whether or not,
Yeah.
those expectations are kind of similar or like have changed. For me, I would say like I remember the moment that like I kind of committed to the idea of actually giving it a try was
Mhm.
like around January of 2019, and this
Yeah.
was after coming back and going to like a little friends get together, and like mutual friend, like Andrew and Ryan, and they were there. It was
Uh-huh.
like that was the night where it was like really pushing me. It's like, what, you could do this. This is something you should try to do. And I remember like us waiting outside for the bus or for the TTC like streetcar. It was
Uh-huh.
like 12 or 1 a.m. And that
Yeah.
was like, okay, I'm going to give this a try. This is the year where I'm going to do this.
Mhm.
Who knows where it is? It's like, I have no idea if I could even write a joke. I don't even know about performing. It's like, if by at the end of the year, I'm going to take the class, the LOL comedy class. If maybe 1 year into it, I
Mhm.
can just be able to write a good 5 minutes or even be able to perform, that's my expectation. That's
Mhm.
it. Like, I don't know anything else. Like, I don't even know if I can do it even.
Mhm.
And then that was just enough to take the push. And then after doing the class and having the graduation class go very well, giving me the confidence to do more shows and
Yeah.
you know make an effort to take on the challenge, talk to other people,
Mhm.
ask for introductions to other producers. And you just never know, really. Like, you never know all the limitations you may set on yourself. It's like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh, I'm going to fail. It's like, even if your expectations is like, low expectations, if you
Mhm.
go in with low expectations, you never really know how far you might actually go. Because
Yeah.
like for me, it was very lucky and fortunate to have been in the right time, to know just the right people, to be able to go from doing the class to being able to perform on stage at the CBC Glenn Gould studio for like a spur of the moment type of show. It was
Mhm.
like, it wasn't something that was planned like half a year before, but it was like a fluid process. And
Yeah.
just so happened I was there. Just so happened I knew the producer of Vong's show. I was doing some of the comedy writing groups with them. And
Uh-huh.
it just, when an opportunity arises, you never know
Yeah.
when it's going to come. And then if you take that chance,
Uh-huh.
if you push yourself to take that opportunity when it comes,
Yeah.
you have no idea where it might lead to. So
Mhm.
that's the thing I would say in terms of like 1 year in. And to anybody who else in the future or currently listening,
Uh-huh.
if you're unsure about where it can go, just go in with it, just with the knowledge that you just want to do it. It's something you want to at least say to yourself that you did do it,
Yeah.
and then see where it takes you. Like, you never know where it might take you, and you never know where you might be in a year.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, that's the main thing, right? Like time's gonna pass no matter what. It's really about what you're gonna do with your time. Um, Granted, oh man, I gotta say though too, quarantine and COVID really fucked a lot of things up. I think I know that's the general consensus for a lot of people's aspirations and goals, but like I did this thing, I did this acting thing, not kind of a spur of the moment, but it's like something that I've always wanted to do too.
Right.
And I'm happy I got to do it within the year of 2019 to 2020. But it's always like the what do you call it when like babies, the imprinting phase of babies, right? When they
Right.
finally like open their eyes and see their mother and they're like, okay, that's my mother. I can be vulnerable with her. Um, I feel like, we're so early in our progress, in our journey, that having COVID happen within our second year kind of like ruins momentum a bit. So I'll be honest, like it's been a great first year of acting. And the show that I'm on is actually premiering later this month, which I'm pretty excited for. Um, but this has really made me like reevaluate what I want to do.
Oh,
You
oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Many amateur comedian have perished in the last year or so, or even
Yeah.
professional comedians have essentially perished. It's like, this is a very low income endeavor. There's like And once you have such a long period of time off and you want to try and push yourself to get back into it,
Mm-hmm.
it's tough. I mean, even for me, like in terms of writing new material, like not, I've jotted down a bunch of ideas, but in terms of still sitting down and writing it, it's just still doesn't feel like there's a avenue to express it properly. I mean, it's a good thing that we have this, that we could focus some energy in that area. To feel like there's a little bit of progress going. But like, yeah, no, I had big hopes this summer.
Yeah.
For, you know, be able to ride that momentum of the
Yeah.
first 7-8 months. But you know.
Yeah. So just for our listeners, whoever is maybe like unfortunately like also unemployed or feeling it too, just know that we're us too we're both feeling it, man. And we totally hear you. If you have like any stories you want to put out, like let us know, because we had high hopes too.
Yeah.
But you know what, so long, I don't know, maybe this is just wishful thinking too, Josh, but so long as we keep the track, we keep hiking, we will eventually get there. So that's all I can really hope for right now. But hopefully something happens, man, because this fucking sucks.
Yeah. Who knows what the new world will be like with a vaccine, and things might go back to, you know, but who knows.
Speaking of that too, whatever this new normal is, like some of my friends have been on set already in Vancouver. They're like, it's totally different, man. Like, I really look forward to booking gigs, not only for the pay and everything like that, but for craft services.
Yeah.
There's no more buffets.
Oh. Everybody has to have their own like individual container of food, or they have to take like some prepackaged stuff.
Yeah. And you got to bring your own masks.
Oh.
And I'm not complaining. It's, oh my God, I'm going to sound like such a petty diva. But like, yeah, everyone's like bringing their own masks, their own gloves, sometimes their own face shields too at times. I heard makeup wasn't really being done and everything because it's too close to you and everything.
Yeah, I guess.
It's just, man, this industry, man, it changed in a span of 3 months. It changed so much.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, you really gotta adapt or die, and a lot of people have been metaphorically dying through this process, so that's not great. But you know, maybe in a couple of years things will go back, and we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're coming up to the time for this episode. Do you still want to do rapid fire 10? You know, we'll give each other 10 word association words.
Let's do it, man.
Okay. All right. Okay.
You want me to go first for you?
Okay, you go first.
Okay. You feeling loose, Josh?
I think so. I don't know what feeling loose means, because I'm so robotic. I don't have any emotion. I don't know.
Can you at least like pop a collar? Oh goddamn! We got Pitbull in the house.
No, I can't, because the buttons on it keep it from being popped.
Oh, you actually did that button? Wow.
Well, there's always the buttons. Anyways, yeah. Hit me.
Okay. First word. Paper.
Man.
Notes.
Taker.
Ambiguity.
Confused.
Ghosts.
Busters.
Curved.
Curb your enthusiasm.
Curse.
Available now on Netflix.
Ooh. Kanye.
Crazy.
Oh no. Roommate.
Ryan.
Partner.
Ryan? No. Well, no, actually, yeah, probably. I would say Ryan, like partner in singledom. Okay.
Last one, Josh.
Yang.
Are you seeing
Oh
it
no,
too?
the internet's it was really bad. Hold on, was the last word Josh?
Yeah.
And I answered Yang, so that's correct. Okay,
Cool.
well we'll see how much of this actually makes it. Okay, so next 10 words.
Okay. Okay. Hold on. Okay, I'm good.
Okay, watermelon,
Man.
quarantine,
Sucks.
friendship.
Raymond.
Okay, audition,
Anxiety.
front line.
Oh shit. I mean, these are just all random. I thought of the word squeegee for some reason.
All right, squeegee.
Mhm.
Desert,
Mirage.
television,
Entourage.
clouds,
Moody.
thunder,
Thor. Mm.
and finally, kumquat.
When Phoebe said, "Oh, that's my Wi-Fi network."
Oh yeah. Oh right. For a second there, I don't know why when Phoebe said, I was like, from Friends, from the TV show Friends. I was like, I actually don't know many Phoebes other than Phoebe Mew that we interviewed.
Our most highest
Oh.
viewed episode so far.
Oh yeah. I think that's right.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's been quite a ride. 25 episodes. That's quite an accomplishment, I feel.
Yeah. You know what, Josh? Like, we're a quarter of a century. No. A quarter of a century worth of episodes.
Quarter of a centennial.
Of a centennial, not century.
Centennial, maybe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's we'll see what episode 50 will be like. Episode 75, 100 if we are still here at 100.
You know what? Even when quarantine ends, let's still do it over Zoom. Is Zoom still a thing then?
I don't know. Zoom was never a thing beforehand, and I thought like it would have been something like this whole webcam thing would have been like, more established than it was before this all happened, and then all of a sudden Zoom comes in out of nowhere.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I feel like I kind of like the Zoom a little bit just because it opens up to a lot more guests that we can talk to. But I think I do want to try and if we can do the in studio feeling again, and maybe somehow have a guest come in studio. But I don't know. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. What are your handles, Josh?
At Josh Yang Comedy. Also, remember to sleep with Josh by listening to the Sleep with Josh podcast.
Can you say that more seductively?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sleep with Josh Yang. Or just sleep with Josh. Ooh. That's my podcast voice. That's how I do it. So, Lucas, what are your handles?
You can find me at Lucas John Ing, NG. That's 2 letters. N for Nancy, G for golf. That's my last name. And please follow us on Instagram at HWMIY podcast on Instagram, and also subscribe us on YouTube because we need those subscribers.
Yes, thank you. All right,
awesome.
Cool. See you guys next week.
Peace.